What's good, Washington fans? So today was the first day of mandatory minicamp, and that guy, defensive rookie of the year, Chase Young, is back. He's back in town and was at practice today. It was mandatory, so he made it in. Of course, from what I'm hearing, the guy looked good. He looked fast. He looked in shape and wreaked havoc. So we'll talk about him later in the video. Also about the debate about him being at OTAs and not being there. So we'll discuss that a little bit towards the end of the video. I know some people were worked up about him not being there. Do I question his leadership? No, I do not. I still think he's a leader. And he actually talked with Jamin Davis, and Jamin Davis acknowledged how much of a leader he was today. So we'll talk about that. Or Jamin Davis didn't say that he was a leader, but he was just like, man, you take this serious. You know, Chase Young takes football serious and drills and everything serious. So we'll talk about that later in the video. But first, we'll get to the injury report, and then, of course, some plays that I heard or that were reported, and I'll analyze and react to those plays that were made in minicamp today. And then also we'll just react to, or I'll react to Ron Rivera, some nuggets from his press conference and from Chase Young's press conference. And then we'll wrap up the video. Then I'll wrap up the video here. So guys that were not at practice today was Curtis Samuel. He has a groin injury. So some people are concerned about that, you know, because he's a speed guy. We don't want to see him get hurt, of course. But, you know, we've had some injuries in the past with wide receivers. You know, we had Paul Richardson, who we signed, and, you know, he was out for what? He only played, 3 out of 16, or I think he only played like 5 games in the first year he was here, and then he got hurt again the second year. So I don't think Curtis Samuel will be anything like Paul Richardson, knock on wood, as far as his injuries. But just something to keep an eye on. It's June, so we got a long way to go. Hoping everybody stays healthy. So he was out today with a groin injury, did not practice. John Bostic was not at practice today. He had an excused absence. Same thing with Jimmy Moreland. Same thing with J.D. McKissick. So non-injury related reasons why they were not at practice. And then on the side field with trainers was James Smith-Williams, the defensive end who we drafted in 2019. Dion Yelder, the tight end that we signed last month. And Greg Strom in the corner that we drafted a couple years ago. Those guys were on the side. So let's react to a couple plays that I heard. This is from Matt Paris on Twitter. He says, William Jackson III with a interception off of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and the defense was fired up after that. It was funny because Ben Standing tweeted earlier that Ryan Fitzpatrick's passes are impeccably accurate. So this kind of shows that there's a Jekyll and Hyde thing with Ryan Fitzpatrick. As we know, the Fitzmagic, the Fitztragic thing, you know, that's the narrative on him. But I've heard some really good things about Ryan Fitzpatrick. I meant to make a video yesterday about Ryan Fitzpatrick about I'm starting to gain a little bit more confidence in him. I wasn't the happiest guy when we signed him, but I get why. The guy's a gunslinger, and he fits what we're trying to do, what Ron Rivera's trying to do. He's trying to push the ball downfield, stretch the field, make more big plays, because our offense was the opposite of what Ryan Fitzpatrick does, which is throw the football downfield. We have receivers that can stretch the field and create more explosive plays. And the guys like Ryan Fitzpatrick. They're saying he's fun. He has a lot of swag, all this kind of. Ken Zampese, the quarterback coach, said Ryan Fitzpatrick has swag. Chase Young, in his press conference today, said that Ryan Fitzpatrick is super fun. But and then more detail, Pete Haley says Fitzpatrick just threw what I would deem a ghastly interception in 9-on-9 drills off 1 foot sidearm over the middle. William Jackson III was on the other end of the floor. So these are the plays that we don't want to see. But this is minicamp, so get all the interceptions out of your system. And just, you know, try to connect with the wide receivers. You know, mistakes are going to happen, but these are the things, these are the concerns with Ryan Fitzpatrick, with him throwing interceptions, you know, forcing plays, things like that. That's the kind of thing we don't want to see from him, that we've seen from him in the past with many other teams. The last 2 years, he has played very, very well. Top 5 QBR last year, and then the year before he was number 8 in QBR. So he has improved the last 2 seasons, but interceptions and plays like this definitely do concern you. I know it's just practice, but these are the things that concern me about Ryan Fitzpatrick, of course. Chase Young, this is from Zach Selby. He says, on the offense's first pass play of the team drills, he rushed past 2 blockers before getting in Fitzpatrick's face. He let up at the last second because, you know, no contact during minicamp. But yes, Chase Young is doing Chase Young things. So you can't touch the quarterback. But basically he's saying he had a sack. Nikki Javala also said the same thing. 2 plays into team drills, and Chase Young is already wreaking havoc, wrecking practice. So it's good to see Chase Young getting it done, man. He's already getting back there, picking up where he left off. Rhiannon Walker said the same thing. Ryan Fitzpatrick's cell went over his intended target to William Jackson for the interception. Also talking about William Jackson, that was a huge signing. I mean, upgraded at the cornerback position. You know, we let Darby walk, bring in William Jackson. These are the things that we want to see. With our pass rush, William Jackson should definitely be a top 10, top 5 corner in the league this year upcoming. So it's going to be a lot easier than playing behind the Bengals D-line. He's going to be matched up against some really, really good NFC East wide receivers, some #1 wide receivers this year. So it's going to be interesting. I think William Jackson is the X factor to this defense. He's going to bring more speed to the defense, more physicality, more toughness. Somebody called my phone, so it messed up the video. I got to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But yeah, William Jackson, man, I think he's a guy that can definitely bring some tenacity to this defense and just be more physical, man. That's what we're looking for. He's an athletic corner, super fast, long arms, rangy. And, you know, I think he fits this defense perfectly. When corners come here, as like you see last year with Ronald Darby, they played better behind this D-line. So I'm excited to see William Jackson play this year. I think he's the X factor to this defense to help us improve. William Bradley King looked good today. Very nearly had an interception. This is from Zach Selby. Very nearly had an interception by jumping in the way of Taylor Heineke's pass. But Heineke had to adjust his throw at the last second, and the pass was completed. But it's still a subtle reminder of Mayhew's belief that William Bradley King and Shaka Toney could contribute early. So both 7-round picks. We're going to need those guys to step up, you know, bring that depth behind Chase Young and behind Montez Sweat. You know, losing Ryan Kerrigan, we need the young guys to step up and play, man, because we're going to have to give Chase Young and Montez some breaks sometimes. And we don't want that much of a drop-off. We still have James Smith-Williams. I think we still have Casey Tuhill on the roster too, but we could definitely use some depth. So we can just keep shuffling guys. That was the benefit that we had last year. If Montez got tired or Chase got tired, you could just throw in Ryan Kerrigan, and it's not too much of a drastic drop-off from those two guys. So we're looking for good things from William Bradley King and Shaka Toney coming up this year. So Heineke, that shows just the mobility of Taylor Heineke. It's good to hear because he still has that mobility. He gained 15 pounds of muscle, getting stronger, but he still has that mobility. And I love it to see. I love it from Taylor Heineke. Fitzpatrick just sidearmed a pass. This is from Zach Selby. Sidearmed a pass to Adam Humphries during the final portion of team drills. Really intrigued to see how the connection is going to help the offense this season. I'm excited about Adam Humphries too. I think he's going to make the roster. I already made my video about the wide receivers. I think Adam Humphries is a lock in my opinion. I think he's going to make the roster. I think as long as he stays healthy. Last year he missed a couple games because he tested positive for the virus and then he had a concussion. But if he can stay healthy, which is kind of a big if, I think he's going to be a great add to this team. He's going to be the 4th option, but he's a really, really good slot wide receiver. He can get open. He knows how to get open. Has great connection with Fitzpatrick, and is a tough runner. He's not scared to put his head down and try to run guys over. So I'm excited for Adam Humphries. I'm not expecting him to get 1,000 yards in the season or even 700 yards. I'd be fine with like 500 yards. I think that's really good for a 4th option. Jared Patterson, this is from Zach Selby as well. Jared Patterson has looked pretty efficient today as a pass catcher. Randy Jordan told us yesterday that was something they didn't expect from watching tape on him, but he looks natural in open space. So we're looking for another running back out there behind Antonio Gibson. I'm hearing Antonio Gibson look really smooth and fluid. He did talk about the turf toe, that he still feels some pain from the turf toe, but he feels, of course, a lot better, and that he is making strides. He, of course, is going to be ready for preseason and training. Personally, I would not play him in preseason. I would just let him go to training camp and sit him for preseason, and he'll be ready for game 1. But I'm hearing Antonio Gibson looks good. Also, another good play from Taylor Heineke. He scrambled to keep a play alive, and Antonio Gandy Golden was there in the end zone to make the catch. He got a couple of pats on the helmet from Logan Thomas and Sam Cosme for it, too. So with Curtis Samuel not being there, Antonio Gandy Golden got to get some more reps. Looks like he shook Troy Apke, who's been playing cornerback recently as from the start of OTAs. So that's good to hear from AGG. AGG, I have him on the outside looking in. I don't think he's going to make the roster. But if he makes plays like this, and in preseason, he'll definitely make a case for it. Some people are saying we could keep 6 or 7. Personally, I think it's only going to be 6. I think Kelvin Harmon will make that last roster spot, and I don't think AGG is going to make. I know he was the 4th round pick, but if you look at the Cardinals, they had what was Hakeem Butler? What was he, the 5th round pick or 4th round pick? And they released him because they just brought in better guys. They brought in DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk and other guys, and they just got better, and they just didn't have enough room for that guy. So it's competition. Somebody who you think is going to make the roster of the wide receiver position is not. And then once again, like I said, another good play from Taylor Heineke. So Troy Apke has continued to take snaps. So let's go to positions. Let's see who was some of the starters today. Not that it really matters in June, but it's just something to talk about and take a look at. Troy Apke was playing corner. Cam Curl got a lot of looks at slot corner. This is from Matthew Paris today with Jimmy Moreland not practicing. So he showed more of his versatility. So that will be interesting. We do have Bobby McCain that can play slot corner, and also Daryl Roberts, who they picked up. So the first team offensive line at the start of team drills was Charles Leno at the left tackle, Wes Schweitzer at left guard, Chase Roullier at center, Brandon Sheriff, of course, at right guard, and Cornelius Lucas at right tackle, and not Sam Cosmi. Sadiq Charles did take snaps at left tackle with the second team. So we'll see that camp battle with Cornelius Lucas and Sam Cosmi. We'll see if Sam Cosmi will eventually take the place of Cornelius at right tackle, starting at right tackle. Second team was Sadiq Charles at left, Eric Flowers at left guard, Tyler Larson at center, Wes Martin at right guard, and Sam Cosmi at right tackle. For the second team, Eric Flowers versus Wes Schweitzer. That will be an interesting battle. Personally, I think Eric Flowers is going to start. So Ron Rivera said Chase Young was looking good and was flying around during practice. It was nice to see him out there as well. Ron Rivera had some good things to say about Taylor Heineke. He knows how to make things happen. He has enough athleticism that he can correct a play, but he also knows not to, and that is one of the pluses that he has in his skill set. So let's talk about Chase Young here. There was actually some nuggets that he talked about that we didn't know. He said he injured his hip before the Eagles game, and that he pulled his groin that we do know about, and I think before the Eagles game, and then he tweaked it even more in that Browns game, and then he missed the rest of the Browns game, and then he missed that Ravens game. But before the Eagles game, he was nicked up and banged up, and he still played well. He won the NFC East Player of the Week, so that was incredible by him. So it just shows that he played through some injuries, and he really wants to be healthy to start off the season this year. He talked about some of his workouts. He talked about working on his footwork. Oh, also let's talk about why he wasn't there. He said he was in and out of the building through phase 1 and phase 2 of the workouts. So he did work out in the facility. He just wasn't at OTAs. Also, he was working with his trainer, and then he had some media stuff. He had some photo shoots. He was on Family Feud with Steve Harvey. He did that. So Chase Young is a celebrity now. After winning Rookie of the Year, this guy, is doing a whole bunch of media stuff, which is pretty cool. So he got that done. He would work out in the morning, then go to his media shoots. And then he's doing, not GQ, but he did Under Armour. I'm not a big fan of Under Armour, but he did an Under Armour shoot. I'm a Nike guy. And then he did an eBay shoot for a watch, promoting a watch or trying to, sell a watch or whatever it was. So those are some of the reasons why he didn't make it. Personally, like I said, I get why people were kind of upset with Chase Young not being there at OTAs, because, he does have the C on his chest. He's supposed to be the leader. Other guys were there. He's one of the few guys that didn't show up, that didn't really have like an excuse of having a child or anything. Like Antonio Gibson had a child and he still showed up. So it was interesting. I get the argument, but honestly, Chase Young, we know that's a guy that's going to get there, put his hard hat on, his lunch bell, and get things done and go out there. He's just a dude. That's what he calls everybody else. He's just a dude that gets things done, and that's what he did in practice today. He showed up, basically got a sack in practice, was just flying around, being a leader. And then also from P. Haley, Jamin Davis got his first Chase Young experience today when Chase was telling Jamin to run off the field of practice. Jamin looked at him and said, "Man, you're real serious, huh?" Chase Young's response was, "This may matter one day." So talking about just running off the field, just simple stuff like that, just running to the bench, running off the field so the next guys can come on, the next group of they're in a 4-3 and the next group come on, they're in a nickel package or whatever, or in a dime package, and the next group has to come on. A different personnel has to run on you. That's important. You got to get off the field. You don't want to get you don't want the team to snap the ball off fast and get the next play. So it's next play, next man up, things like that. So that's what he's teaching the young gun in Jamin Davis. So that's awesome to see. That shows his leadership as well. Chase Young, he said he believes that we can be the top defense in the league. On paper, it shows that we can be the top defense in the league. We just got to do it. PFF actually ranked us. I'm not going to say actually. PFF ranked us as the second defensive line in the NFL, which you can't really argue against. I think this defensive line is legit, especially with Matt Ioannidis coming back. I'm excited to see this team with that guy. So other nuggets from Chase Young's press conference. He talked about him working on his footwork. He had ankle problems since college, and he said he's not going to have ankle problems no more. So he really wants to work on his footwork. He had an interesting way to describe the workout where he said, he has to move his toe by itself. He was like, "Can you guys move your big toe by itself?" And I tried to do it, and it was a little difficult, but I did get it down. So he's just his trainers have him do different things with his feet and getting his footwork down. So that is interesting to hear about Chase Young as well. Then they asked him about Ryan Kerrigan leaving. He said, he's happy for him, and he commented on Ryan Kerrigan's picture on Instagram. and that they probably would swap jerseys after the Eagles game. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of swapping jerseys. I'm kind of old school. Like Michael Jordan, I don't see him swapping jerseys with Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas. But it's a new school. It is what it is. And then he said he was sending his strength coach videos over the offseason. So Chase Young he's had a lot going on during the offseason. I'm happy to see he's here now, so we can put all these debates and arguments to bed for right now. We probably won't be thinking about this in August and September when the guy, or September, November, October, when the guy's getting sacks and racking up sacks. So good to hear things from minicamp. I heard Matt Ines was looking good today. Lamar Miller got a lot of snaps too, so I wouldn't sleep on him on making the roster as well at running back. So just some good things from minicamp. It's been a positive vibe. Amir Fitzpatrick has looked solid so far, and guys are excited to play with him. So, and I heard Dax Milne was actually has been playing a lot, being punt returner a lot. So I can't sleep on him making the roster either. If him being a punt returner can help him make the roster, then that's something that he might, separate himself in doing that. So, all right, you guys, that's it from minicamp day 1. I'll see if I can get you guys some updates on day 2 and day 3, standouts, different things like that. All right, so hail to the football team. Peace.